Halo 4.
Halo 4. Where to begin?
Indeed.
Do you want to do campaign, multiplayer, Spartan Ops? Split it up like that?
Oh, I got him.
All right, let's talk campaign. First things first, immediately, it looks amazing.
That's understating it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Reach looked fucking good, and especially compared to 3, which was a bit disappointing visually, because you were expecting such a leap on the new technology back then. This, I don't understand how it looks this good. It's like another generation up from Halo Reach. Fucking unbelievably good-looking game. At first, I was a bit disappointed because the colours, they've gone for a more muted, almost mature, I'd say, colour palette, haven't they, compared to the bright colours of previous Halos. I was lacking in purple in my life. I was lacking in some pink, but that starts to make sense later on when the oranges come in and stuff. And to me, the Halo colour palette's always been something that's appealed to me a lot. But yeah, in terms of the fucking skyboxes, the detail, the sheen, it looks like Forza Horizon but Halo, and those two games make no sense. I can't understand how they look this good and feel so solid. So yeah, it looks good, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can possibly overstate it. I mean, it's jaw-dropping. I remember at the beginning of the year, I can't remember what the 3 games were. One of them was UFC Undisputed 3, but I played 3 games on the trot, and afterwards I thought, we're ready for new console hardware now. The developers are overshooting what's possible on these machines. But after playing Fable the Journey, Forza Horizon, and now Halo 4, I'm just like, I don't even think we need new consoles. Because these are incredible looking games. They're incredible to the degree that, I mean, PS3. We're very used to saying PS3 exclusive look amazing, but these games, they're properly state of the art, incredible looking games. And I just think the design of the world. I mean, there's a lot of. This is set obviously after Halo 3. It's supposed to be the most recent, the most far along in the timeline. And there are places that you visit where the architecture is clearly supposed to be a development from what was in previous games. So it looks the same but kind of different. And I really liked the way that was. Yeah,
all the Forerunner stuff, which has been in there since the first Halo, is now stunning. As stunning as it was in Halo 1, if that makes sense. Because relatively, when I played that blew my mind as well. Looking back, it just looks like a bunch of boxes. But again, now, just the kind of like architecture and artistry and imagination, they create world. I mean, Halo is underrated in so many places and highly rated in others, but these are incredible imaginative worlds that really certainly pull me in and make me start think and question where I am. And Halo 4 for me, I'll talk about the sort of minutiae of the mechanics later, but it kind of brought back that feeling of otherworldly oddness mixed with the combat that the first game managed, because the reason the first game's so good, apart from the design, is that it was also new, and then no Halo's really been new since then until now, because of this new enemy type and these new types of worlds that you visit during the game. And there are times I was just like, what are these guys that I'm fighting, and where am I? And what am I going to see next? And you see something, you'd be like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that to happen, like, at all. And I remember that feeling vividly from playing the first Halo and just being like, wow, like the first time I shot a needler, stuff like that really have lived with me and almost coloured the way I've thought about games for the last decade. And stuff like that has happened in Halo 4, which is very exciting to me.
Do you think it's on a par with the Bungie games?
Now, here's where we have to talk about the mechanics, I guess. It's fucking close. And at times, I think there are missions in the campaign which are up there with the best Halo missions for me. But there are little niggles where the AI in particular isn't quite as good. It's still better than other shooter games AI by a long way. So that needs to be established first.
I'm undecided about that. I don't think it's. I mean, the Bungie Halo games would always shock you by some of the stuff that they did.
Yeah.
And playing through the campaign, I didn't notice anything like that. But going back and doing some of the Spartan Ops, which we'll talk about in a minute on Legendary, I saw some stuff and I was like, you little fucker. Like seeing an elite run upstairs, hide downstairs, and I'm going to go down. He nips up, just pops his head up, throws a sticky grenade at me, and then runs back downstairs. I'm like, you little shit.
I have had that because I played through the campaign on heroic as opposed to, I think you did it on normal, didn't you?
Yeah. I've just started it again on legendary, but I did it on normal first.
I have had moments like that, which is what I crave from Halo, and it's always happened in the Bungie games. But I've also had plenty of moments where you look at an elite and he's just standing there, and you shoot him in the face and he doesn't move. Very occasionally, but it kind of stands out because this is Halo. This doesn't happen in Halo really. So when that did happen, it was more obvious than ever, and little bits like it's kind of telling that there's no campaign theatre mode in this one, because the way that the AI and the levels are structured and populated is different, I think, to certainly Halo 3 and Halo Reach, whereby you could go through and use the flyover in the campaign theatre mode in those games and see the AI of guys way back in the level and they're interacting with each other nowhere near you, whereas this feels like it's kind of drawing guys in as you get to them, like almost any other game does. And again, it's not a huge problem, and if you're not a Halo fucking weirdo like me, you probably wouldn't even notice. But just the small things, and you get a couple in a row and I'd be like, damn, this doesn't have the Halo magic, and then something would happen and it'd be like, yes, of course it does. And stuff with the new enemies who we should talk about. I
have to say, I didn't find any problems at all with the AI. Not one problem. I haven't seen nothing where someone was standing still while I hammered the shit out of them. Nothing.
This happened, I'd say, twice. Twice in a campaign, which has taken a long time because heroic's fucking harder than in any of the other Halo games.
That's weird that you say that. I'm interested because I've done the campaign on normal and I've done the first mission and a half on legendary, and I'm still on Reach. I still haven't finished Reach on legendary. This felt like it's considerably easier than Reach was.
Interesting, maybe because it has a slightly different flow to it than the Bungie games, and I mean slightly different. But the main thing is there are a few sticking points which have extremely long gaps between the checkpoints, and that's what makes them so hard, longer than at any point in any of the Bungie games. And to the point where it's like, am I seriously not got a checkpoint yet? You're asked to take out like 30, 40 guys, including elites and Promethean Knights, who we should talk about in a second. All of which can just smash you in seconds, and there's always the chance of stepping on a plasma grenade and something in Halo, which is why the checkpoint is normally quite generous. So having to go back another 10 minutes and do it all again over and over and over and over a few times did my nut. And there were a couple of occasional moments, and these are really small criticisms, where it was a couple of bits which felt a bit unfair, and there have been bits in the previous Halo games which on high difficulties have been like that as well, so I'm not singling out 343 for this, but there was a couple of bits where I thought that probably wouldn't have been in one of the Bungie ones. But these are like sections within giant missions within a giant campaign. So I don't want to focus on being negative. I want to actually switch that around right now and say I think 343 have done an amazing job in continuing Bungie's legacy, taking it to the next level in terms of visuals. There's way more enemies on screen, and they've brought all their own flavour with the new enemy types. The story's better than it's ever been as well, actually. Following it, I'm interested in it. The acting's much better. The cutscenes are much better. And this is before we even talk about multiplayer and Spartan Ops. So I want to establish that I think it's fucking superb.
It is. It is very, very good. Someone asked me what I thought, they asked me what order I'd put them in. And I'm going through it on legendary again. I'm going to reserve judgment until I finish it on legendary. But I don't think it's up to snuff with the best. I don't think it's as good. The thing is, the campaign. I'm surprised that they've made it Halo 4 rather than a sort of an offshoot or a different timeline or something, because it is actually surprisingly different. It's smaller. It's still an epic game, but there's something. It's smaller. There are huge set pieces, ridiculously huge set pieces have always been part and parcel of Halo games. There's not many of those in here. It's a very different. The ebb and flow of combat is very, very different.
There's a lot of combat.
There is
infantry combat in this.
I don't think. It's a superb game. It doesn't always feel like a Halo game, especially at the beginning. I started to worry.
Yeah.
The first half, I was slightly worried, especially when they introduced what looked like a villain. Because the thing about Halo games, we've spoken about this. Whenever a Halo game's come out, we've always been like, when they start to go off a bit with the space politics. The upside of that was that they never had to rely on a villain. You always felt like you were this cog in a machine and you were fighting the system, and it was like that was what made them great. And there was no boss battles or any shit like that.
They were in 2, but they weren't really boss battles. You just punched those guys in the neck, didn't you?
Which ones?
The what they called? the fucking little old Covenant guys in the chairs, the Prophets.
That doesn't even ring a bell.
Because it's probably because you've only done Halo 2 once, because it's not very good compared to the others.
Yeah, that's true. But by and large, they didn't rely on something as cliched as a villain. And when they introduced what looks like a bad guy in this, I thought, oh shit, are you introducing a character who I'm going to have to... I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was worrying without good reason.
Yeah. I think that's a fair thing to say.
That was a problem, but it was only because I was worried about it. But it is a surprisingly different game, not to its detriment. I think if you're... But I never realised, I never thought of myself as a Halo purist, but when I started playing it, I was like, I think Bungie took their assets library with them, because as soon as we started playing, I was like, the pistol doesn't sound like that. As soon as I got in a Warthog, I was like, the Warthog doesn't sound like that. I never thought of myself as that kind of person, but I was just like nitpicking little things that didn't seem right.
I was at first as well.
It's not a problem, and it's a testament to the game that as it goes on, you care less and less and less about that sort of stuff.
It helps when they bring in their own flavour in the third mission when the Forerunners come in.
Yeah,
we need to talk about that enemy quickly. The Promethean Knights. The Forerunners of basically the Promethean Knights, who are like their elite equivalent, and these little scurrying guys that are fun to shoot in the face because they explode in a really satisfying way, and they're kind of annoying in a good way. But it's mainly about these guys who they kind of have the intelligence of elites. They're harder than elites. They're tougher to kill. They can teleport, but not in a cheap way, and they can rush you in this really special teleport. They can summon these really annoying turrets which can catch grenades and shield them. They're really like varied and difficult enemies, and eventually there's different levels of them as well, and some of the weapons that they have are very, very cool. I think they did a great... What do you think? I think they did a really cool job in establishing a genuinely new type of enemy in Halo.
And a new set of weapons, and finding my feet with them, because there's always some that you get and you're just like, what is this? I wish I could remember the names of them. I have to say, they've got pretty forgettable names. But
they do. Bolt shot, suppressor, light rifle, binary rifle. But the way you pick them up and they go like Transformers or magical Transformers or something. It's very cool.
Yeah, and but the way when you work out what's good for... I mean, that's the joy of any Halo game. I mean, you work out what's good against what.
Yeah.
And yet they are. I mean, it's completely different from anything you've ever seen in a Halo game, but it still felt like they're part of the same universe.
And when you're fighting both, because I mean, it's pretty obvious that you're going to end up fighting both types of enemies at the same time, because that's what Halo does. That can be quite special at times. Yeah,
and it's also nice. I mean, that's another thing where I think the AI was surprising, is that I often hung back and watched them fight each other.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be really, really... That works really well. You could sort of go in when half of them were depleted and stuff like that. So I think the AI is less of a problem the more I played the game.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I want to reiterate in case my points before, I was being hypercritical, and it's still better than the AI in any other shooter by a distance, and not really anything comes close. Only stuff like Far Cry 2 even comes anywhere near it, really, and stuff like Crysis perhaps, but. It's the Halo purist in me, just going, that would have never happened before. But there's probably stuff that's happened in it that wouldn't have happened in the Bungie games.
Yeah.
But super cool. The music didn't do it for me as much as Marty O'Donnell's stuff.
Oh no, I preferred the music. Did you? Nice. Yeah, I thought it was nice to have something. Something a bit original, because relying on a theme tune is just... I think the fact that they didn't feel the need to rely on that was
but they didn't use that theme tune in 2, Reach, or ODST.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's in 3. It's not in Reach, and it's not in 2. Weirdly, there's a riff on it in 2, but the music in ODST is still the best for me.
Okay,
that kind of smoky jazz.
Smoky jazz.
Yeah, the kind of when you're in a city, when you're the ODST going around a city and trying to hide, and it's like that kind of smoky jazz with the Halo vibe to it. That's the best music in any Halo for me.
I need to hear that just to hear if I can. Smoky jazz. I mean, okay, all right. I'll have to try and seek that out.
It was so good.
I thought the music was very strong, and I liked the sort of sweeping, very, very reminiscent of Hans Zimmer stuff that comes in during the final mission. I was like, button pushing, but it's really effective, and I like the fact that it was like the end of Max Payne when that tune came on.
Yeah, that was super.
There is a little bit of a, it does lift everything a little bit. You feel like you're on your way to the end of the game, and that's very, very good. But yeah, the campaign, very, very good.
very, very good.
The fact that I might not think it's quite on a par with the best of Bungie stuff, it's not far off it.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't feel like when Treyarch first took their hand to Call of Duty and their campaigns were just nowhere near as good. It's nothing like that. You know? Yeah. It's in the argument. It's there. It's not going to disappoint fans at all. They're going to be. I think people are going to be very pleasantly surprised. And even though it's slightly different to other Halos in terms of the flow and the pacing, don't worry. There are huge open battles as well in there. At times, some of the biggest. There's a couple which I think are probably the biggest in the series. One which is pure fan service for me, just nerd out city, which I don't want to spoil, but I loved it.
Okay, to be honest, I didn't think there was any battles as big as anything. I mean, there were. That's the one thing that I think this game's lacking. There are big ones, but the first Halo, one of the first things I remember is coming out onto a battlefield, and there's those. Everyone's fighting, and it's just the scope of it. Even back on the original Xbox, I don't think that. But then I don't think they're striving for something like that.
But there are a couple of parts in Halo 4 where it's that doubled in terms of the amount of troops and the size of the area.
Okay, that might be. I mean, as I've only played it on normal, I have to say that I've never noticed that.
Okay.
I will say also briefly that there are nods to every Halo game, very, very, very subtle, just in terms of the way the levels are designed.
Yeah, not in an irritating way whatsoever.
No. I'm just like, oh, that reminds me of Halo 1. Oh, that reminds me of Halo. Literally every Halo game, I think, ever so slightly and very, very subtle, and that was nice. And the message 343 put up this fucking lovely message at the end of the game. Just this little text thing. Oh, it's lovely. Just a lovely kind of. I won't spoil it, but that's a fantastic little thing at the end. But
right. Let's move on to multiplayer.
But the potential to be the best multiplayer of any Halo game, I think.
Yes, I think so.
It's too early to tell as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's because we've been playing this when only journalists are playing it, and I must say, 343 staff fuckers.
Yeah.
Have you played against one of them?
I think so, yeah. I've been smashed up by people who didn't feel on the same level to everyone else.
No, honestly, once every game, I check the scorecard and I'm like, who the fuck are you? I mean, like, far and away, the highest score on the table. Yeah. Click on his gamer card, it's a silver account, no gamer score. I'm like, you little shit. Go back and fuck off. Because honestly, they're just fucking demons, obviously, because they've been working on the game for ages. But I'll tell you what, man, cheaters. Fucking cheaters.
But cheaters. the way that they've kind of brought it up to date and turned it into a truly modern shooter with the upgrade system. I knew there was going to be an upgrade system with unlocks and whatnot when they talked about it. But what I didn't realise is how much they were going to alter the actual flow of a standard Team Slayer game. So have kill streak equivalents that work really nicely that drop the more powerful weapons or power-ups. The fact that the game isn't so focused around controlling the power weapons, it's more about gun on gun with the standard weapons, and then as you do well, you can start to bring power weapons into it, and the little abilities that you have that are similar to the ones from Reach, but there's a few new ones. The flow of that's much better and much more modern feeling, but still very, very much has that Halo essence, which is the only thing that stuff like COD is lacking, really. It doesn't have that unscripted madness that Halo has. Have you played the Dominion mode?
Yeah, it's very good. I mean, I can't remember. Was that in Reach? I can't remember.
No.
Dominion is basically domination, where you sort of fortify those units when you capture the point. Yeah,
and then it starts bringing in the vehicles and everything like that. Yeah, it's such a cool idea. I think I was probably still end up playing Team Slayer the most, but I like the fact that they're really trying to keep it Halo, keep it and take it to a modern place, and throw in new ideas as well. And just. A great kill in Halo multiplayer is better than a great kill, I think, in any online shooter.
Aside from possibly Battlefield.
Maybe some in Battlefield, yeah. But I was thinking more COD, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, in comparison to COD, it's night and day. But they're two different things. But
no, of course they are.
But yeah, I had already. I mean, just the other day. I mean, I think it was yesterday actually. I played. Just a Team Slayer with a bunch of guys, and we were getting fucking hammered. And then we came back. I mean, it was just the most gripping, fantastic, amazing kills. I mean, I went to town afterwards on the theatre mode, just capturing some of the shit that happened. Just like, this is. I loved Halo 3. I loved ODST. I loved Reach to bits. I loved Reach to absolute bits, but this feels like Halo 2. Yes. And that Halo 2 was my fucking that's one of the all-time great online shooters, and it is. I was up until God knows when the other night playing it, just completely and utterly gripped, because it does harness that kind of just anything can happen craziness, and it's just it's good. Yeah. And the armor abilities, they've got rid of some and kept others. There's this new one, this lunge move where you can. I
haven't used that yet.
That's the one. You can instantly dodge into cover. Sorry, you can sort of shift instantly, or if you're running towards someone and they're going to go for the melee, you can
a bit like Dishonored, is it? A bit.
Yeah, but it's a very small amount so you can't leap large distances. So you have to be standing in an adjacent doorway. That's why already when I see someone standing in an adjacent doorway, I try and strategize around, because I know what he's going to do. He's going to jump into the doorway. But the best part is when you run in gunning at someone and they're going to go for the melee and you go for the lunge instead and fucking smash the shit out of them.
Right, that's cool. I've mainly been using the Promethean vision, which is, the see through the walls, because the big problem with me with online shooters is getting killed by people I don't know where they are. So checking where you see a dot on your radar, hit Promethean vision, you go, okay, so he's walking around from here and he's going to drop down into this door and then I've got him. That's really helping my game. But this sounds interesting. This lunge, I'm going to set up another loadout with this lunge.
I had no idea that you could actually see through walls with that.
Yes, it's very good. Try it. It's very, very good.
Fair play.
Yeah, but I think with any of these games, you can only really start to get a handle on the balance after a long period of time.
Yes, Halo Reach took a while to take hold for me, but this instantly.
Yeah. And I love the fact that I can play it on my own and still feel like I'm working towards something.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's true. That's unlike any other game, almost. I mean, Battlefield does it to a certain degree, but feeling part of a team, that does happen pretty instantly when you're playing Halo.
Yeah. And so the final part of the puzzle is Spartan Ops, the narrative-driven co-op mode with the episodic mode, where they're going to keep updating the content. Pretty cool from what I played. That's the part of the game I played the least. We played one together, which was quite good fun, but we kind of blasted through it. We should have probably done it on Legendary. I think we did it on Heroic, and it wasn't very difficult, to be honest, when we did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it when Halo's combat is just distilled into a space, and you can really start to appreciate the craft that's going on. And it seems really cool. Like I say, you might need to talk me through this one a little bit more, because I haven't played enough of it.
Yeah, I've done 4 missions. I think I did one with you, and then I did the other 3 on just on single player on Legendary. I think that the hardcore fans are going to be a little bit disappointed, because they're essentially anyone can do them, because as soon as you die you just respawn, you've lost nothing, you don't have to go back to a checkpoint or anything, because it's just. And I was quite encouraged when they got rid of firefight mode. Was a brilliant mode, but it was just Horde, and we've all done Horde to death. I mean, now if you put Horde in a game now, did you play the Horde mode equivalent in Binary Domain?
No.
It was like the game would have looked better if it didn't have it in it. It made the game look bad. So the fact that they were kind of progressing the co-op idea with this was really encouraging. I don't think it lives up to what I expected of it, because it is basically the same thing with a couple of very, very sort of minor missions tied into the middle. And you do move about quite a bit, so you are kind of in a sort of story mode, moving from A to B and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very good. It's very, very entertaining. The only thing is that, as I said, hardcore fans are going to be a little bit annoyed that you can die a million times, you can still complete it.
I didn't actually realise that. I thought maybe the time when we played it, because one of us was alive, it was okay. But I thought we're just respawning each other, but I didn't realise you could do that.
No, I did it on Legendary. I did a couple on Legendary yesterday. And you can keep dying. You just even if you kill one enemy each time, you'll keep coming back. And
that's a strange decision.
It is difficult. But then again, they've got the skulls there, so you can have a skull whereby if you die, there's all those skulls that sort of people can tinker with if they want to ramp up the difficulty. But nevertheless, people like it when there's achievements tied to stuff like that, and the fact that this is so straightforward might upset some hardcore fans, but it's very, very entertaining. I mean, if you want to do a mode on co-op, it's better than most co-op modes for sure.
Yeah, and of course you've got co-op campaign as well.
Indeed, is that still for 4 players?
Yes.
Fair play. Okay. That's good.
Yeah. Yes. So I need to play more Spartan Ops. I'll probably try and do the Halo's one of the few games I actually make sure that I do on co-op with my brother. It's like a tradition, so we'll probably do that on Legendary. Looking forward to going back through that again, and I'm pretty sure multiplayer's going to sink its teeth in. But it may be what happened with Reach, because Black Ops 1 came out, and out of all the COD games, that's the only one that's ever grabbed me, and Halo Reach disappeared for us as we were playing it.
Yeah.
So this might happen again.
Same here. I mean, it depends, because, like I said, COD's never grabbed me to that degree either. I mean, that was an obsession for all of us.
Yeah.
But this, man, it's going to have to be pretty special, because once everyone's got on board with this, I think we're going to get fucking sucked right in again.
I think so.
Yeah, it's the package is just it's astounding. It's a hell of a fucking game.
Really is. Very, very happy that they managed to do such good work.
They have, yeah. They've done the franchise proud.
No doubt.
One just random thought. I've never felt so uncomfortable killing those little guys.
Really?
Maybe it's just because I've gotten older, but I've never felt so uncomfortable.
But they don't. The grunts.
Yeah.
They don't. But they're not as like kiddie anymore, and because they don't speak in the same way in Halo 4, do they? You can't really understand what they say.
But at the same time, when they run away, they wave their arms.
Yeah.
I don't know. And there's a sequence. There's a classic Halo set piece in Halo 4 where you have to escape from somewhere quite quickly on a vehicle. I think an equivalent to that sequence has happened in every Halo game. Yeah. And you pass all these little grunts running around, waving their hands in the air, and I'm just like, I feel if I had an extra seat on this thing, I'd stop and I'd let you in. And like my girlfriend was watching me play it. Whenever I killed one, she was like, "They're friendly." I'm like, they kind of are friendly. I feel bad killing those little fuckers.
Yeah, they're not friendly on heroic when they fucking plasma shot you and then take you out.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's just like they seem like such amiable little fellows. They're nice little guys.
They're the chavs of the Covenant.
No, they're not. They're like the...
No, the Jackals are the chavs.
Who are the Jackals?
With the shields.
I don't know where this conversation is going. I don't have anything to say to what you just said.
It doesn't matter. It's probably time to end this discussion.
Well, Halo 4, it's excellent.